What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, there has been a lot of speculation and a lot of rumors and talk surrounding the Detroit Lions 7th selection in this year's upcoming NFL draft. There's a lot of people within the fandom that believe the Detroit Lions should take a guy like Trey Lance or take a young quarterback to fully restart and fully reinvent this Lions team under a new quarterback and under a young drafted quarterback and a guy that was drafted by this current regime. There's a lot of NFL fans, including myself, and a lot of Lions fans that believe trading back would be the best option. They believe that acquiring the most assets, acquiring the most draft picks to get as many opportunities to find star players as possible would be the best option for the Detroit Lions. There's also a large fandom of people, and there's a large amount of people surrounding the Detroit Lions, a lot of Lions fans that believe taking the best weapon available, whether that be Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, or Jalen Waddle, would be the best option for the Detroit Lions at 7. However, today we will not be talking about any of those players. Today we will be talking about a very underrated prospect at the 7th overall pick. However, a pick nonetheless and a prospect nonetheless that could, at the end of the day, and with it all being said and done, end up being the best player for the Detroit Lions to take. Now, if you are unaware, I am talking about Northwestern's offensive tackle Rashawn Slater, and in today's video we will be going over Rashawn Slater, looking at his strengths, his weaknesses, whether or not he is worth the 7th overall pick in the NFL draft, and why the Detroit Lions may want to draft him if they are stuck at the 7th overall spot. Now, before we get into this video and before we start talking about Rashawn Slater, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying this Detroit Lions content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes 2 seconds that day to do so. It's quick, free, and easy, and it would help the channel out more than you could know. So if you could take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe, I'd be greatly appreciative for it. But with all that being said, without any further ado, let's get into taking a deep dive at offensive tackle Rashawn Slater and whether or not the Lions should be looking to select him with the 7th overall pick. Now, Rashawn Slater is a senior offensive tackle out of the Northwestern Wildcats. Rashawn Slater currently stands at 6'3", 305 pounds at the tackle position. And although Rashawn Slater is not the flashiest name, is not the biggest name position, and is even not widely regarded as the best tackle in this draft class, Rashawn Slater might, at the end of the day and at the end of it all, be the best player for the Detroit Lions to go out and draft with the 7th overall spot. Now, Rashawn Slater, as a Northwestern Wildcat, had a very successful career with Northwestern. In the 2020 season, he did end up opting out and did not actually play a single snap for the Wildcats in the 2020 NCAA season. However, in his last full season of play in the 2019 season, he played at an absolutely elite level and played like the first-round pick that many people believe he is, and potentially even the top 10 pick that he may eventually become. Now, in the 2019 season, Rashawn Slater played in 11 games for the Northwestern Wildcats, allowed 0 sacks on the quarterback, allowed only a single quarterback hit, and 5 pressures on the season. He won the Offensive Player of the Week award twice for the Northwestern Wildcats and was awarded a second-team All-Big Ten award for his efforts. Now, those stats are very impressive by themselves, right? Obviously, allowing 0 sacks, 1 QB hit, and just 5 pressures in an 11-game season is impressive enough. However, it goes a little deeper than that, even, as if you look at some of the talent that he played against, it gets even more impressive and even more respectable when you look at what he was able to do. Now, last season, his last full season with Northwestern in the 2019 NCAA season, Rashawn Slater played two future NFL prospects and 2 very highly touted NFL prospects at the time in both Ohio State's Chase Young and Iowa's AJ Epinessa. Now, both of these players went on to be very highly touted NFL prospects. Obviously, Chase Young going with the 2nd overall pick in last year's NFL draft and walking away with the 2020 NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. AJ Epinessa ended up going, I believe, in the 2nd round to the Buffalo Bills. And although he did not have quite the immediate success in the NFL that Chase Young had, he is still a very intriguing young prospect that the Bills are looking to build around and is looking to earn more opportunity next season. So, I mean, Rashawn Slater did play quite a bit of very good competition last year, or in 2019 for Northwestern, and still was able to hold every single pass rusher he faced without a single sack, only 1 quarterback hit, and 5 quarterback pressures. Speaking of the Chase Young matchup specifically, Rashawn Slater absolutely dominated this matchup. Although Northwestern lost, I believe, 53-3, it was an absolute blowout by the Ohio State Buckeyes. Rashawn Slater by far was the best player on the field for Northwestern and was by far the best player on the field during that entire football game, arguably. During the matchup and during his time facing off against Chase Young in that one matchup in the 2019 NCAA season, Rashawn Slater allowed 0 sacks, 0 QB hits, and just 2 quarterback hurries on the entire game versus Chase Young. Again, the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year. Rashawn Slater is a very technically sound player and has very, very good power for a guy of his size. And while Rashawn Slater might have a little bit of a below average arm length, I believe his arms only measured out to be about 33 inches, does have very good technique and very good power, and was genuinely the better player in that matchup versus Chase Young. He did not allow a single sack in the 2019 season, played multiple ranked teams, multiple top pass rushes in the NFL, and still stood up to all of them, as I said, allowing 0 sacks, only 1 quarterback hit, and only 5 pressures on the season. Not to mention, Slater is also a very versatile player. He was recruited out of high school as a guard. However, with the Northwestern Wildcats, he did transition to both left and right tackle, and again, as he was recruited as a guard, obviously can play that position very well as well. So not only would the Detroit Lions be getting a very versatile player at the 7th overall selection. As I said, Rashawn Slater played both left and right tackle with Northwestern in his career. He also was recruited as a guard, so if you need to slide him in there, you could obviously do that very, very successfully. But you're getting a guy that has good technique, good power, and at the end of the day, doesn't allow sacks. Do you know how many NFL players could not stop Chase Young this year? Do you know how dominant he was as just an NFL rookie? And Rashawn Slater, as just a junior in college, was able to stop somebody that most NFL tackles had trouble stopping. That is an impressive resume in its own right. That one singular game is an impressive resume in its own right. But taking a look at the rest of those teams, I mean, they played Iowa, who was ranked. They played Minnesota, who was ranked. They also played several other ranked teams in the 2019 season, all of those teams of which had very good, very solid pass rushes, and all of those teams in which were obviously very good on the defensive side of the ball, as they were all ranked football teams. Rashawn Slater stood up to all of them one at a time, did not allow a single sack on the quarterback. And although Northwestern was not the most successful team in 2019, although Northwestern did not have a great offense, Rashawn Slater was far from the problem. You know, not to mention, the Detroit Lions did send a scout to his pro day as of yesterday. They sent their offensive lines coach to scout him at the pro day, where Rashawn Slater showed off his absolutely elite athletic traits. Rashawn Slater at his pro day yesterday at Northwestern put up 33 reps on the bench press, ran a 4.88 42nd yard dash, which is a very, very good time for an offensive tackle, had a 7.48 second 3-cone drill, squatted 495 pounds without breaking a sweat, along with many, many more athletic feats and many, many more reasons for NFL teams to draft him. And all in all, his pro day absolutely boosted his scouting report and probably solidified himself as a top 15 pick in the NFL draft. This dude is athletic. This dude is technically sound. He does not allow sacks, does not allow pressure, does not get blown off the ball, even by the best of competition. And I believe if we were to draft Rashawn Slater, if we were to put him next to if we were to put him on the offensive line at that right tackle position, that would give us 4 very, very quality young starters on the offensive line, leaving just one spot open on the offensive line that is a question mark. Obviously, teams build through the draft, and when teams do end up building through the draft, more often than not, good teams end up building their offensive line first. Teams in football, NFL teams win in the trenches, whether that be on the offensive or the defensive side of the football. And drafting Rashawn Slater, although it may not be the sexiest pick, although it may not be the greatest, the most highlighted pick, although it might not be the flashiest player on the board, and might not even be the best player at the offensive tackle position, Rashawn Slater may be the best pick for the Detroit Lions. He would shore up the offensive line. He would give you 4/5 of your offensive line completely secure for many, many years, as both Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, and himself are incredibly young, very studly offensive linemen, guys that can push you off the ball, guys that can move you in the run game and be very, very efficient in the pass protecting game as well. And you know, if they were to draft Rashawn Slater, they would be built to win. The Detroit Lions would be built to win in the trenches. As I said, top pick in the NFL draft in Rashawn Slater at right tackle, top 5 tackle in the NFL right now in Taylor Decker, top 2, top 3 center in the NFL, one of the best rookie guards coming off one of the best offensive guard rookie seasons in the NFL, and really having an opportunity to even fill that right guard position if you really need to. Rashawn Slater may end up being the best pick for the Detroit Lions if they are stuck at the 7th overall position. Now again, I still think that trading back, I still think that trading down in the NFL draft would be what's best for this Detroit Lions team. However, the realistic possibility, the realism of that happening isn't necessarily a guarantee. Obviously, other teams need to trade down with you, or other teams need to trade up with you in order for your team to trade back in the NFL draft. So if the Lions are stuck at the 7th overall pick, if the Lions are stuck with the 7th selection in the NFL draft, it would be in their best interest, in my opinion, to skip over the flashy quarterback name, skip over maybe the big wide receiver name, skip over, you know, the big defensive player, you know, the Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, the Micah Parsons of the NFL draft, and not necessarily go with the craziest pick, not necessarily go with the boomer bust pick, and not even necessarily go with the pick that's going to sell you tickets, but go with the pick that's going to win you football games. Because out of every player that will be available at the 7th overall pick, Rashawn Slater is the most valuable player for the Detroit Lions. He's more valuable than a wide receiver. He's more valuable than a rookie quarterback that's going to sit for 2 years. He's more valuable than an average defensive player, and better than average defensive talent with the 7th overall pick. Rashawn Slater is one of the only players at the 7th overall pick that would be worth the pick, would not be a reach down the board, could be an instant starter, an immediate impact, and really fill out the final pieces of what is set to be a very, very good unit in the Detroit Lions offensive line, and all in all, could be the best pick for the Detroit Lions. Now, with all of that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about Rashawn Slater. Would you take him with the 7th overall selection? Would you take him if the Lions were stuck at the 7th overall pick? And would you be happy if he were the next starting right tackle for the Detroit Lions? Let me know that down in the comments below. Be very curious and very interested to see where you guys sit with the offensive line. With all of that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. If there is Lions news before tomorrow, then I will obviously make a video letting every single person know. But until then, that's all I got for you guys right now. Thank you all so very much for watching the video, and I will see you all tomorrow with more Lions content. Thank you all so very much for watching, and of course, go Lions!